And now, from 12 Studios, this is News 12 Now.
Today is Tuesday, April 23rd. Welcome to News 12 Now. I'm Kylee Dedmon. New on 12 Now, we now know the name of the man shot and killed in Sherman last week. Police tell us the victim is 38-year-old Charles Davis. It happened early last Sunday on Texoma Parkway near Grand Avenue. The fatal shooting happened after an argument between Davis and 40-year-old Ramian Jordan. Jordan is being held in the Grayson County Jail on a murder charge. His bond is set at $1 million. An update to a story we told you about earlier this week. We now know one person has died after a crash on Highway 69 in Stringtown on Saturday. OHP says 40-year-old Anthony Bennett of Indiana died after being flown to an Oklahoma hospital. Troopers say a semi-truck was parked on the shoulder of the highway when it was hit by Bennett's semi. His truck went off the road and stopped at a creek bed. The other driver was not hurt. An affidavit is revealing new information about a Plano woman's motive for allegedly killing her ex-husband. Police say 38-year-old Meredith Nunley admitted to shooting 55-year-old David Nunley in the chest after finding him on the phone with, quote, an illegal woman, end quote. The couple was divorced but were still living together. Police say Meredith initially claimed it was self-defense and that she was in a trance when she shot him. Meredith is charged with murder. Oklahoma City police have identified the 5 people who were found dead in a home Monday morning, including 2 children. Police say officers made the discovery during a welfare check Monday morning. Investigators say it is believed that the suspect, Jonathan Candy, armed himself with a gun and killed his wife, Lindsay, and 3 other children, ages 12, 14, and 18, before turning the gun on himself. A 4th child in the residence was unharmed and was released to family members at the scene. Deanna Stein with News on 9 reports.
It's a very tragic, very sad situation.
Oklahoma City police say that situation was discovered inside a home located in the Czech Hall Estates neighborhood off Southwest 29th Street.
When officers arrived, they made entry into the home and did indeed find 5 people in there who were deceased.
More officers arrived on scene and roped off the entire neighborhood, allowing only those who live here to enter. With the number of victims, police dispelled any rumors of a cause.
This wasn't a gas type of situation or a fentanyl type of situation. These are 5 people who were killed.
Police say the 5 dead all had injuries consistent with homicide, including at least 2 children.
We're talking about children being inside this home and being victims of this also.
Crime scene investigators showed up and worked into the afternoon to process the scene.
Well, turning to weather now, let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Brian Briggs. Brian, what could we be expecting for our Tuesday afternoon?
So far, it's warm and it is windy out there and feeling a lot more like normal compared to yesterday. It was a bit on the cooler side, if you recall, with those highs only in the upper 60s. We're already past that point for most of us here now as we go to the afternoon. So sitting into the 70s and yeah, fairly mild out there. A little bit breezy though with a gusty southerly wind anywhere from about 10 to 20 miles an hour. Sustained. Gusting even higher than that, we're seeing a few 30s trying to pop up here. So warm, windy, a little bit humid as well. It is April, and eventually, as we all know here in Texoma, that will lead to a chance for thunderstorms. And actually that begins as early as tomorrow with an unsettled pattern. And we could be seeing several severe weather chances as we go into really the next several days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to be exact. So we'll kind of give you the latest thinking on what we are thinking here in just a little bit. Till then, back to you, Kylie.
Thank you, Brian. Well, this week, millions of Texas students are taking the STAR test, but this year's grading system is a little different from previous years. CBS's 7's Tyler Poglich spoke with officials about how this year's grading system for all open-ended portions of the STAR test will be graded by AI software.
We're told not to use ChatGPT, when we're doing our schoolwork, and it seems kind of hypocritical for us to be told not to use that, but then here we are being graded with the same type of technology.
For the first time, the Texas Education Agency is using automated scoring software, also known as AI, to score the open-ended questions on the STAR test for several subjects.
I'm not surprised by that. The sophistication of artificial intelligence today really allows us to use it in a variety of areas. So I was not surprised that we're using it in that realm.
Before this software was introduced, the state hired third-party contractors to grade students' tests. But with the new grading format, the state will end up saving over $10 million from not having to hire outside resources.
The explanation that I've been given is that the number of responses on the STAR exam that need some sort of grading, whether it's from a human or from an AI type of program, have increased, and that's what's justifying this.
Over the last several years, Representative Landgraf has spoken out about his concerns with the STAR test, and this year is no different. Some of the concerns Landgraf has with the STAR test is that it costs way too much money, where distributing this test costs the state annually over $70 million. Another is that it stresses students and teachers out, and it doesn't give an accurate representation of all students.
But the STAR test is not the best way to do that. We see other states, 27 states in fact, right around there, are using the standardized test that was formed in Iowa. It doesn't have nearly the same problems that we're seeing with STAR, and I think that's something that Texas has to evaluate.
For Dr. Murray, the TEA gave a notice to not just ECISD, but all districts in Texas about the idea of using AI grading for a portion of the test, but it wasn't made clear of just exactly how much of a role it was going to have.
But there were some smaller elements of communication, so we were aware. Didn't know the scope of that, didn't fully understand how it was going to be used, but we were initially aware that it was going to be used.
Representative Landgraf would go on to say that the initial runs of test scores done by AI had inaccuracies, which caused concerns for Texas teachers. A fake Amazon van pulled over in Missouri leads to an illegal marijuana grow facility in Oklahoma. The van had 250 pounds of packaged marijuana that had just been picked up in Lindsay, Oklahoma. The Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics says they served a search warrant on the Lindsay Grow facility after Missouri State Police tipped them off. OBN says 9,000 plants and 215 pounds of processed marijuana was seized. Well, if you live in Oklahoma, you might soon be paying more for natural gas each month. In an email to customers yesterday, Oklahoma Natural Gas says it's filed an application for approval of a rate change. It's seeking an increase of nearly $32 million in base rates. It would raise the average customer's bill by about $2.50. ONG says it's to recover increased business costs and natural gas infrastructure investments. A decision from the Corporation Commission should come this summer. Thousands of United Methodists are attending their general conference with LGBTQ rights within the church leading the discussion. The General Conference has the power to edit the Book of Discipline and initiate changes to the denomination's constitution. The meeting will be discussing the repeal of church rules that ban same-sex marriage and LGBTQ clergy. A special session was held in 2019 that attempted to settle LGBTQ issues the church faced. Overseas conservative members voted for stricter enforcement of the bans in place. As a result, thousands of members disaffiliated from the church.
I don't know what will happen if those harmful words aren't taken out. I am expecting steps in the right direction to have harmful language removed, where the welcome and inclusion will someday make it so that everybody can be ordained. If you are called by God to be an ordained elder or deacon, that nobody should step in that way. No church, no institution should step in that way.
The meeting is normally held every 4 years, but it was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Minority Leader Senator Mitch McConnell spoke on the Senate floor today about the upcoming supplemental bill vote sent up from the House over the weekend. McConnell says delay in providing Ukraine the weapons to defend itself has strained the prospects of defeating Russian aggression, saying today's action is overdue. The House passed a bill over the weekend to send billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine, Israel, and the Indo-Pacific. Their fates are now in the hands of the Senate. And there are a growing number of campus demonstrations over the war in Gaza. Yesterday, police clashed with protesters at the Cal Poly campus in Humboldt County, California. Similar actions have become a flashpoint at many colleges and universities nationwide. Meg Oliver has more.
A chaotic scene at Cal Poly Humboldt in Northern California as police in riot gear clashed with pro-Palestinian protesters. And at New York University last night, the NYPD broke up a pro-Palestinian encampment. The demonstrations have spread to campuses across the country, with pro-Palestinian supporters angry over Israel's war in Gaza, and many Jewish students expressing fear after incidents of anti-Semitism. Like near Columbia University, where some demonstrators chanted anti-Semitic slogans. In one video, a protester can be seen holding a sign near Jewish students that reads Al-Qassam's next targets. Al-Qassam is Hamas's military arm.
Jewish students are petrified to go onto campus.
But many of the pro-Palestinian demonstrators camped out at Columbia insist they reject anti-Semitism and demand the school divest from companies funding Israel.
Many of the people you see here today are Jewish. Anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism are two very different things.
The issues that we are trying to address for Jewish students and other students are not about speech, they're about conduct.
Adam Lehman is the president and CEO of Hillel International, the largest Jewish student organization in the world.
Those Jewish students themselves, even though they're young, their family members, in some cases, themselves experienced aspects of the Holocaust. And so when they see these chants, of course, they feel it deeply, and they feel it in a post-traumatic sort of way that we're working so hard to eliminate.
President Biden yesterday condemned the anti-Semitic comments directed toward Jewish students, but added that he also condemned anyone who doesn't realize what Palestinians are going through. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
Well, that's all for this afternoon's News 12 Now. Thanks for watching. Have a terrific Tuesday, Texoma.